Welcome to the beautiful nation of Dakotia. Our country is the greatest in the world, and after this brief presentation, I am sure you will all find yourselves in awe of the majesty of our beloved land. Dakotia is a free democratic autocracy where all of its miraculous people carry out their civic duties in electing their leader. In Dakotia, we are free from strife. Every citizen understands that we all are part of something greater. We have no need for parties or political platforms, since we all know we are unified through our patriotism and love for one another. Currently, our supreme leader has held their position ever since the founding of our nation. They have won 100% of the vote for every election our nation has ever held, and the people are tremendously grateful for their selfless devotion to them and our country. Our supreme leader is the most qualified person for their position, and no other citizen is more prepared to tackle the hurdles and the stressors that come with this noble job. The supreme leader is dedicated to excellence in all they do. It is almost divine the way they carry out their laborious tasks for our benefit. They continue to be our people's greatest representative, as they are not troubled with menial tasks. All they do is with the intention of leading our nation, and as such we remove all other distractions they may face. This allows them to be the leading expert in our nation and its people. All their needs are met by the citizens' contributions to the state. This rids them of any wants or needs that may have been leveraged by subversives wishing to influence their actions. This is how we guarantee our supreme leader remains cared for and incorruptible. Every Dakotian understands their role in the greater plan of our supreme leader. As such, it is simple for all of our needs to be met. Our supreme leader is our captain and always steers our ship towards prosperity. It is up to all good citizens to do their part in maintaining our spectacular vessel. Everything that the supreme leader decides is for their greater good. We do not need built-in checks, balances, or feedback, as our leader is above any scrutiny. The pressure they work under must be enormous, which is why we know it cannot be done by any average citizen. Our leader also faces no opposition. This allows their plans to be carried out with a single-minded efficiency that would not be possible if any rivaled their power. Such plans are implemented immediately, without hesitation. But of course, our leader cannot be expected to single-handedly implement their vision. Our honorable peacekeepers are always observing the people, being on the lookout to help them meet expectations and protect them from harm. They also serve to remind us of the leader's will and to report back to him on all the delightful work we conduct for the state. If ever any of us have problems or recognize issues, we are free to use our strict chain of command. Every member of our nation, to become a citizen, must complete compulsory service. Once completed, we are assigned a position to perfectly complement our talents and a rank to denote our expertise. This allows everyone to have an avenue to reach our fearless leader in times of need, as we all work in concert for the betterment of our people. This also serves to ensure our leader's will is delivered to us uninterrupted from our supervisors. Our assigned supervisors are given clear and transparent orders to disseminate among all they are charged with. Our militaristic organization comes with countless benefits in increasing unity and cohesion among our population. During times of war, we must limit our rights to free speech in order to ensure that all orders are followed. Once the lives of our countrymen are no longer hanging in the balance, we can ask about the nature of our orders, but it would be irresponsible of us to hesitate while others could suffer. It is also true that we have been at war for our nation's entire existence, but that is because there are countless who envy our beautiful nation and the freedoms of our people. They seek to undermine and subvert our leader, and we must always resist their lies and temptations. During times of peace or away from battle, our military structure also helps us organize to create things that are greater than ourselves and beyond the capabilities of individuals. During the implementation of social reforms, creation of infrastructure, and delivery of aid to those in need, we rely heavily on the efficiency of our system. Once our leader has recognized a problem, it can be quickly and easily addressed by our population. There are many nations that claim to be powerful, but none compare to ours. It is true that some have cheated and lied to pretend they have amazing capabilities, but you and I know the truth about these paper tigers. Though many idolize it, America and other Western democracies are bloated and corrupt. Their people all have a voice, and thus nobody can be heard. Their systems are large and complex and beyond any understanding for most, so malicious individuals take advantage of the ignorance of the people. People are also always against each other. Everyone is making a new law to counter someone that came before, and thus there are always a dog chasing its tail or a hydra with each of its heads trying to go in a different direction. Behind the American-style democracy and popularity is the republic or federation. These take people who don't identify with each other and draw needless semantic distinctions between them. This forces them to work together based on arbitrary rules and guidelines. Thus, their representatives do not seek cooperation with one another. Instead, they're only trying to further the goals of a single tribe or region. Worst of all, many of these representatives become corrupt and collude against their populations to benefit the elite. There are also various nations that these popular powers try to compare to Dakotia to. Kingdoms and dictatorships, while sharing few of Dakotia's benefits, suffer from nepotism. Dakotia's people elect our leader, but we also know that he is the best for the job and do all we can to support him. We can never fall victim to this nepotism, as our democratic elections protect us from such follies. All of this isn't to say that our system is invulnerable. As we mentioned earlier, foreign subversives always seek to destroy our utopia, and thus we must all do our civic duty to understand the traditional limits of systems similar to our own. Firstly, the needs and operations of an entire nation are a lot for a single person, even one as amazing as our glorious leader, to handle. The lives and actions of millions of our comrades are diverse and complex. It would be impossible for any mortal to account for everything and understand all the variables associated with our nation. Secondly, though we all understand our hierarchical nature under the supreme leader, there are cities more remote or in locations that are farther distances from his sphere of influence. Additionally, even in our capital, there are hundreds of communities that must be seen to, and it's hard for our security forces to protect and manage every single citizen. Thirdly, many autocracies are incredibly susceptible to misinformation. Since everyone in our nation embraces our homogeneous culture, there can be blind spots that form. Often, corrupt officials, subversives, or traitors exploit our trusting and unified people with information meant to lie and deceive so that bad actors can further their evil intent. And finally, the farther away officials are from the problem, the more difficult it becomes for them to comprehend its nature. It is difficult, if not impossible, for leaders to recognize occurring situations they aren't currently observing, and making well-informed and timely decisions in response is very, very difficult. Thankfully, the greatest minds of Dakotia, with assistance from our supreme leader, have addressed all of these concerns, and they no longer plague us. To avoid information overload, our leader employs hundreds of peacekeepers to act on his behalf to collect information. He also relies on the robust intelligence gathering agencies who leverage everything from cameras to signal interception to monitor and collect on everything that occurs within our nation. To avoid spreading the supreme leader's authority too thin, We are all members of the military and thus fall under supervisors who guide us to victory and report back on our progress. To avoid lies and false information from spreading, every media outlet in our nation is required to subject their product to review and screening by our top officials in the intelligence gathering network. This allows them to verify only the truth is given to the people, and we are allowed to continue to blindly trust our news sources with confidence. Finally, to avoid our supreme leader from ever becoming too far removed from the plight of the people, they know that failure to not meet our needs will result in another more qualified individual being elected in their place. And to avoid this ever occurring, our supreme leader handpicks the best and most qualified of our citizens to serve as his direct advisors. These advisors are then charged with understanding the nuance of our nation and helping our leader make important decisions. Admittedly, our advisors have occasionally been shown to be subversive traitors to the people, especially when they tell our leader false information. But their executions serve as a reminder of the cost of our freedom. I hope you now understand why Dakotia is the greatest nation on the planet. Our leader is the most qualified for his job and diligently carries out his duties. He is beloved by all, and we all are given meaning in his great plan. He avoids all the points of friction that other nations experience, allowing us to efficiently act and cooperate towards a greater tomorrow. Because our leader is perfect, we don't need useless positions or policy in our nation, allowing everyone to find deeper fulfillment and greater purpose. Our efficiency and cooperation make us the envy of the world, and I am sure you will adore our nation as much as we all do once you join. I would caution anyone who would imply otherwise. They may have fallen victim to subversive propaganda propagated by our enemies. Just to be transparent, Dakotia is the name of the enemy force the Marines fight in Tonga Palms, California. It's represented pretty much every North African to Middle Eastern nation to have ever existed. Aside from the name, everything else in my presentation was created entirely by me with help of the listed sources. And these are the sources.